So I totally accidentally removed and deleted the first live video that I did, like last week I think it was. But hopefully I'll not do that this time, and all will be well in the world. Anywho, I'm gonna start trying to do this probably at least once a week, maybe. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Bruce is making disco music over there for me. So, I don't know what I want to talk about today, so I guess I'll probably just go over a little bit what I did last time, and Nero, don't you dart. See what ends up happening. Pretty much everyone that I know is been trying to social distance and not get as involved as much as they used to, and it's driving some of us a little crazy. I know it's driven me nuts time to time, but I've chosen to paint and really start exploring my artistic side more, even though I've never really felt like I've been good at drawing or anything of the sort. But it's fun, and it takes my mind off of things, and it's easy to escape, and it's messy, and it's interesting. I've also started reading a lot more into a different type of book. It's definitely not what I usually do. I hear myself echoing in Versus phone. It tripped me out for a second. Self-realizations and acceptance and moving forward with things, and not just being my usual self.
Don't settle.
So this is the first book, and this is because of Bruce. This came from him. And he had read this and introduced it to his family, and then obviously me now. And so we've been reading it together on and off for a while.
It's a slow read.
It's a very slow read.
It has to be a slow read.
It's very eye-opening in a lot of different aspects. You just have to be honest with yourself. And it's by Eckhart Tolle. And he also has another book that we recently acquired from Bruce's mom. It's not something that we've gotten into yet, but all the same. And then the other book I have been reading is along the same lines. It's focusing on how we can create our own sickness, our own pains, which for me...
Honestly, the power of now kind of goes over that stuff too.
That's why I said they kind of work hand in hand.
Oh, I thought that was...
Anyway. So that book...
I'm here for comic relief.
is called Feelings Buried Alive, Never Die. And this was actually first introduced to me by a really good friend of mine that I love and adore. And her name is Grandma Tilly, or at least that's what I'm going to call her, because I don't know if she wants me giving out her legal name. And I've known her pretty much all my life, and that's how it feels. And this is by Carol K. Truman, and I've been reading it for a little while because, like I'd also mentioned in the first video, I had gone and seen Maureen Wheeler recently, and she did some work on me, and I'll talk about that later. But she also recommended that I read this book, and I hadn't touched it in years. I mean, I'd gone over it a little bit, but not with this new mind that I've been creating and making my new reality. And a lot of that is in help of Bruce and his way of thinking as well. And that's ultimately what life is, I guess, in my opinion. But
Is as it is.
Is as it is. Tis as it is.
Accept, then act.
Yes.
I don't know if you want to do any quotes.
Like my neck and my shoulders have been bothering me lately. So back to Maureen Wheeler. And hi, Mom. My mommy just posted on something. I need to go see what. I'm on my computer like a smart person this time. She cannot find me, so I'm going to try and help her. Here, talk to Bruce.
Okay. So, yeah. Anyway, Power of Now. One of my favorite things that I got out of this book is as it is. And it kind of has like a little bit of a dialogue where he asks a hypothetical question and then answers it because he's like, look, I know what you're thinking. So he asks the question. He says, the present moment is sometimes unacceptable, unpleasant, or awful. It is as it is. Observe how the mind labels it, how this labeling process, this continuous sitting in judgment, creates pain and unhappiness. By watching the mechanics of the mind, you step out of the resistance patterns and you can then allow the present moment to be. So, I mean, it really just gets you thinking about, like, if you're stressed out about something, especially something in your head, emotions, memories, anxiety for something that's going to happen in the future. I mean, first of all, really, you have to accept it before anything, because even if you can change it, you're still in that bad position at the current moment. So even if you want to change your situation, your way of thinking, your thought process, whatever it is, you have to first accept that it is as it is in the first place, even if it's bad, even if it's toxic. And once you are fully able to accept that, then it's a lot easier to make the change, especially if you're not beating yourself up about it. Accept, then act. Whatever the present moment contains, accept it as if you had chosen it. Always work with it, not against it. Make it your friend and ally, not your enemy. This will miraculously transform your whole life. And that whole process, just going through this book, reading the next book, and like it's a new earth, and it kind of talks about, like, it's like a hypothetical scenario and like guidelines to like what could be if everybody was able to make that shift and not suffer from anxiety or depression, because anxiety is pretty much stressing on something that hasn't happened yet, and depression is continuing to stress about something that has already happened. So there's a lack of acceptance there. If you can't, huh? No, it's over there. But if you can't accept where you're at, and you can't accept the fact that, like, this change that you want to make in yourself or in your life is going to take some time, then you're setting yourself up to be miserable if you can't be patient. So patience is a big part of that as well. And you just have to allow yourself, be patient with yourself. All of this change is internal. Even if you're in a chaotic situation and the world is falling apart and you're trapped inside your house and there's nowhere to go and nothing to do, like, whether
escaping your mind doesn't have to be deeming you and dragging you down.
Yeah, regardless of how bad things are, especially for mental factors, if it's just something that you're worrying about, you could just accept it. It is much easier said than done, obviously, but like through time, like just ask yourself, is this going to kill me? Am I suffering physically from this right now? And if you are, then watch it. That's one of the big things that these books really talk about, is that there's a separation. There are the things that your mind thinks all on its own by itself, like say I'm going to sit here and tell myself I want my mind to be quiet. It's only going to last about 5 seconds until I start thinking about something, unless you develop that practice to kind of purge those autonomous thoughts that happen on their own. And it takes a really long time. You have to form the habit, and it basically reprograms your subconscious, and it starts to get a little bit more quiet. For me personally, the thought processes changed from like verbal thoughts to kind of just like music, essentially, like a rhythm. And it's through the practice of just not judging anything. Like, hey, if I step on a thorn and scream and it hurts, is there really a place for me to be angry? That's what thorns do. That's kind of their nature. It's just unfortunate that I wasn't able to see it, so maybe I can be more vigilant in looking for these painful obstacles in the future. But I mean, once you're already in pain, it's too late to avoid it. You're there. So rather than spending all that time and energy complaining and just really hating where you're at and being miserable, you can just watch it and accept it, and the harshness starts to die off. If you just watch the feeling, watch the pain or the chaos in your mind, whatever it's going on, once you shed light on it and actively watch it, it loses so much power, because it then you're creating that separation where you're like, wait a minute, how can I not like my thoughts but also be thinking my thoughts? You're not thinking your thoughts. Your mind just it's like pop-up ads when you're trying to get something done on the computer, and things just keep popping up right in your face all the time. And
Your mind is a bunch of nerves, which is a bunch of the control.
It's literally electric.
By electricity. And I could get into the medical side of things because, that is what I'm going for. But we're not here for that right now. Unless, people want to. Hold on, I need to make some of these pop-ups disappear that Bruce was just talking about.
Oh. What's up, dog?
Okay. Sorry. Sorry. It's like really dark because the light's right behind me and I just don't care enough to fix it. But I definitely want to dive pretty deep into that stuff. Right now, I want to bring light back to Maureen and how she kind of helped me and let people know that she's available and it helps. So, excuse me. Oh, look at Bruce being a good stage tech. Anywho, many people know my stories, stories, because they know me. But this page is being created to outreach to a lot of people, so a lot of you don't know my story. In short, I have a lot of trauma. I've been through plenty, and that's not just. It's not just the physical; it's mental, emotional, everything. But Maureen Wheeler, I had specifically gone to see her for my physical pain, which was caused by a severe rollover back in 2016, October, that I should be dead or at least paralyzed. And thankfully I'm not. For the medical world that will understand this, I broke the C2 in my neck, which it controls the rotation of our head. And a lot of situations similar to mine, people die
Try 9 out of 10.
almost immediately. and or get paralyzed from that injury alone. I had broken that. I had broken a T11 vertebra in my back as well. I compact burst fractured my L3 in my lower spine. I broke and dislocated my right shoulder. I then received extreme nerve damage from that particular injury, or at least that's what I assume, which caused me to lose feeling in my hand and these three fingers, which is my right hand, my predominant hand. And I had a collapsed lung, broken ribs, all on my right side. And then I had a really severe burn on my ankles from the motor of the ATV that I was in. Yeah, so some serious stuff. I'm pretty banged up. It's been a few years. I've had to have 2 back surgeries. Long story short, we can talk about that another time if people even want to. I really don't care. But I'm in a lot of pain pretty much all the time. And I'm learning to just accept that that is my new reality. But the hardest thing for me has been no feeling in my hand. I haven't admitted to people until I met Bruce how much that really hurt me and how difficult that was for me. And again, that's a whole nother story. So I had scheduled an appointment. Well, actually, my amazing mother had scheduled an appointment with me to go see Maureen. That she was a massage therapist. And ironically, I'm really good friends with her daughter. I've known her since elementary school. We're really great friends. I love her to pieces. Is her mom. And so I knew a little bit of what to expect as far as the appointment went. And she includes electro work into her therapy as well as Reiki. And she can also do that apart. She doesn't have to do all of that. It's strictly a client-to-client basis preferring thing. And I, of course, am down for all three. Let's do this. I'm down to try anything. And I already love electricity as far as TENS units and everything like that. They've helped me a lot. So my amazing mother set me up in an appointment with Maureen. And that was, when did I go to her? Was that after or before that was before my birthday, right? I don't know. I can't remember. Dates not good with them all the time. So anyways, I go to this appointment, and days prior, I had been hurting pretty badly. Winter is always rough, but the drastic changes in temperatures and stuff also are pretty bad on me. So I'd been hurting, and I'd gone in, and that morning specifically was rough for me because I had regained feeling in my hand for a short period of time. And by a short period, it was actually a few weeks. It was not like just a few days. I'd gained feeling in my arm for about a couple months, and it was really painful. It felt like my hand was frequently aching, and just pins and needles, and just it hurt a lot. But I was thankful for it because I could feel it. And like I said at the beginning of this, that meant more to me than the pain. I can handle pain. Insert pun here. So right before this appointment, I had lost feeling in my hand again, and I was devastated. It rattled me pretty bad. And it actually had happened shortly before I had an appointment with another good friend of mine to go do my first guided paint class. Anyways, so I was upset. I was hurting emotionally, mentally, physically, the whole shabam. I was a mess. And I went in to meet with Maureen, and we went over things and discussed, what I was doing, what I've done, all about me, all the things, all the stuff. And she started working on me. And I can't explain the experience. There aren't words for it, but I could feel the tension leaving me as she worked on me. And there wasn't a lot of emotional moments that still make me tear up just thinking about them. And they're true, and that's what you need to know, and that's what you need to... I'm not here to make you believe anything that goes on, but by the time she was finished working on me, which was, I want to say it was almost 2 hours that I was there, so she had to have been working on me for at least an hour and a half, because some of the appointment, of course, was us chatting and talking and getting caught up and discussing my body and what I needed. So by the time I got up from her table, I could feel my hand again. But not only could I feel my hand, it didn't hurt at all. And it was absolutely beautiful, the entire experience. And words cannot express how much that meant to me, how much that means to me. See, now you make me look like a ghost. Bad stage check. Just kidding. So, this guy, he's pretty amazing. I left Maureen just in awe in so many levels that I was mad at her daughter for not telling me to go in sooner. Hi, Poe. This is my puppy, Poe. He takes care of Mama, just like my other three.
I was sitting at work when she was at her appointment, and I was just there doing whatever that is, packing something in a box, and she came kicking the door in, ran in there, was just crying like profusely, like, oh my god. And I was just like, what? And she's like, I can feel my hand, I'm not in any pain, just crying, couldn't believe it. So
it was pretty powerful. It was intense for me, like I said, and it was emotional in every way of the meaning. And I loved it, and I appreciate it. And I'm hoping that this video is going to do a lot more good than just a post for you, Maureen, because people need to know that you're here, that you're even...
I would very much like to be your next victim.
The fact that, like, this option is available. Poe, you need to get down. You're stepping on me. She operates by word of mouth. And I have a really powerful story as far as what happened and everything. So I'm going to be that word of mouth, and I'm going to let you know that she's there. She's here in Price, Utah, which obviously some of the people that I hope this reaches, you're not going to be able to come see her anytime soon. And hopefully this coronavirus stuff will get cleared up or figure out something, because I need to see her again very soon. The past 2 weeks, my arm has been going in and out of service and has currently not had feeling in it for 2 days straight. So I definitely need to get back in there. It's not like it's a permanent fix or anything like that, but it lasted a good while before I even started having spasms that were debilitating. Whatever.
Let me define debilitating spasms. We're talking collapsing on the floor, becoming non-functional because you're in so much pain you can't even operate. You just curl up into the fetal position and just cry and beg for help. That's what her spasms are.
Like I said, anyhow, but
I just
she's
want to
absolutely
emphasize that it's
amazing.
not just a little, it's not just like, oh, it kind of hurt and now it's kind of gone. It's like, no, it completely disabled you to the point where like you couldn't even function for like good parts of the day just because of the magnitude of the pain. And you've been dealing with this kind of thing for years now because of your accident that could have killed you. And now just a little bit of, zip zap here and there and energy hoodoo stuff, and you can feel your arm again and you're not in any pain. Like, science be damned. Like, why would she be sitting here like crying about it?
So, and I hope that people really take it to consideration as once the world starts to get going again, that if you have ailments, reach out to her, see if there's anything that she can do. She's an amazing person, kind of soul, and $60 for a massage that can literally change your life.
That
It's
doctors said would never happen.
for some people like me. See what she can do. Talk to her and live life. So that's mostly what I had gone over and talked about, and kind of wanted to re-say and get back into the world so I don't delete this one, because we're all going to need the help, and we all need to realize that we're all a community, we're all human, we're all here for each other in different ways and different aspects.
Speaking of which, if we can pay for that treatment in advance, I'd be down.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. I mean, yes. All the yeses. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to end this video. I'll be here next week and hopefully see and talk to people and bug you that way. Otherwise, I'll come up with something else to ramble about next week. Love you guys. Bye.